This is my 1973 Volkswagen Beetle, and I've been working on it since December. I drove all the way down to Mississippi from Tennessee to pick this thing up with my father-in-law, and man, have I had some issues. In this video, we're gonna take more steps to get this engine running, as well as some more body work. Trying to get this tire off, I've got my air gun. This tire actually still has some air in it. If I remember correctly, there are 3 lines. This one's for this brake. This one goes over to the other side, and then the one in the back goes to a T. That thing goes to the rear. It seems pretty simple, but you know, nothing ever is. So to get the master cylinder out, it's going to be a lot easier to take the fuel tank out and do it from above. Oof. Wow. Literally tried to move this and it just cracked. Alright, we got a 13 millimeter to get these off. I'm going to take the fuel tank out. That one's not going to be fun. Go ahead and leave a comment of how many bolts you think I'm going to break in this episode. That's a good sign. That's good. Like freaking concrete in there. What the heck? Just got a little rust. I have zero hope for this. Wow. No way. No way. Wow. Not looking so bad for me after all. Over to here. Look at this little surprise. Some feeler gauges. Okay, so while I'm kind of waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and take these off. 3 out of 4. I think so. Yes. Yes. Got a little wiring harness. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at all that room. Oh, Dylan. So I had this thought, I'm not keeping these lines or this. So I don't really have to disconnect these. I could just cut them. Here's a brake line remover tool. Wow, yeah. I don't think that was working anymore. Okay, so these are the 2 that I'm after. I don't even get to those. Okay. I'm nervous. Okay. It's loose. It's loose. I don't even think I can get to this side without taking the brakes off. The bolt's broke. So I'm kind of in a predicament. I'm going to try to conquer this pedal. We'll see. I don't know. I'll give it a few minutes. I got a whole bunch of new drill bits, still didn't work, so I'm gonna try to cut some stuff and see what we can do. This thing, I've been fighting this for, feels like weeks. A piece of the bolt stuck in there. Well, let's get this master cylinder out. Those little tubes are still in there, so let's go ahead and get all these tires off and look at the condition of the brake shoes. Go ahead and get this thing off. That spins really well. I don't even know how these come off. All right, screws off. Wow. So this looks like it's been, it's all dirty now, but like it was recently like repacked. I mean, that's really smooth. A whole bunch of spider webs. This is probably fine to reuse. Who knows? Put all this to the side. If there's one thing I've learned while working on this car, it's that things take a lot longer than you plan for. When I started this 6 months ago, I thought, oh yeah, I'll have that thing driving by June. The reality is, life happens and causes projects like these to get pushed to the back. But you know what they say, slow and steady wins the race. Mess. So with taking the pedal assembly off, the master cylinder, and the two front drums off, there's still a lot more that I need to do. I still need to take the rear drum brakes off, as well as the T to clean it up. And before I do any more work in here, I need to clean up the barn. But I'm gonna take a break and start working on the engine. I am taking these rods out because they're too long and I don't wanna have spacers, and I just wanna do it the right way. So I'm gonna take them out. It's gonna set me back, but that's okay because I'm not in a rush, and I gotta keep telling myself that. I'm not in a rush to get this done. Do it right, take your time. So once I got them broken, I'm just gonna take 14 on an extension, slowly get it out. Now if I did drop it in, it wouldn't be the worst thing because I haven't put the oil filter on yet. It doesn't fall. So sadly, I cannot return these because I opened the box. I ended up listing these on Facebook. Already got somebody interested. I'm gonna go to get the other ones that I need so that I can get them installed. Now let's take a trip to Manfred's shop and pick up some parts. I'm here, and you know, as you can see, there are just parts everywhere. So we're looking around, seeing what I need. Got a list together, getting it all ready. So I'm back. I have literally everything except heads to finish this engine. I think. I'll start over here. I have a new generator stand with my oil filler and a really cool original cap. Just have to get the gasket and everything. I told him that I'll bring mine back. We'll swap it out because we didn't want to try to take this off and potentially damage it. So I've got that whole setup, and then these are my rods that came out of the engine. They're great, good condition. These are 2 remanufactured and they look great, so I'm excited about those. I have my tin for a dual port because I am going to a dual port setup, which will be great. It'll be awesome. I've got the 1 and 2. I already have the 3 and 4. And then I've got these tins for underneath the cylinders. And I've got 2 studs for mounting it to the transmission because I didn't have those. I have a new gland nut. I have another crank bolt. The one that I have is like a chrome piece that I just didn't want to use, so I've got that. The oil relief bolt. I've got the heater boxes with some tins, German authentic parts, which is awesome. And I've got this muffler. Then I have a new flywheel, which is in great condition. Even though this isn't a race engine, I wanted to get my rods balanced as closely as I could. And so I went and ground off some material just to match everything up as closely as I could. So I'm back at my building spot and I'm about to put the rods on. And so I'm cleaning them up. I've already measured them all. And since it's already together, I just wanted to show you how I plan to put everything in, just to show you that if you make a mistake like me and you already sealed everything up and put some of the parts on, that you can actually still change your rods out. Let's clean them up and then we'll put them in. So the way that I'm going to do it, I ground off the forge mark. If I bring this one over here, this is one I got from MANFREDS. The numbers and the forge mark are both on the same side, and the book literally says that they're opposite and the forge mark needs to be facing up. Yeah, so the forge mark needs to be faced up, which is the same as the numbers. So I know that the numbers are on this side, so it's gonna face like this. And the reason is because if you look at these, you've got a little more room on this side than this side, so it sticks out further. So whatever that does, it's just what it says. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're starting with this one. So you might have the question, why am I swapping out these rods? And the answer is, whenever I bought the new ones from CB Performance, it was kind of a honest mistake, if you will. And I didn't want to have to deal with getting spacers for my deck height. I just wanted to go stock. Get my hand on this side. Got it. Feels good. Our nut. Do not drop your nut. And another reason why this could be not ideal is because if the bearings are slightly off, then you can't really tell. All right, they're in. Now I need to torque them down, and I am going to double check that that needs to be facing up because it could be wrong, and I wouldn't want that. So, all right, so I just did some research, and this is the correct way. And if your mark is gone, so on 3 and 4, see there's no forge mark, and some of the numbers were ground off. But if you look down it, you can see that the big side faces the flywheel. So that's a way that you can tell if the forge mark is off. And then if you're on this side, the forge mark is gone, the letters are facing up. You can see that the big side is facing the pulley. So I'm going to torque these down and then we'll put these pistons on. Got this set, 24 foot-pounds. That's what my book says. So she's all torqued down. You kind of already saw me do this in previous episodes. And don't worry, I didn't show this, but I did install my pistons the correct direction, and I did clock all of the rings before putting them in the jugs. Don't worry, I'm putting the clip on this side. Nice and secure. All right, I'm gonna put this on, and as you see, I have some brake clean. I'm gonna blow it out with some air. All right, I got some new gaskets. I'm gonna make sure I get the right ones. Pretty sure it's these. All right, and yep. I need to go find the bolts. Let's put on these nuts. And the torque for this, it says it's 10 inch-pounds. I'm just gonna kind of feel it out, and if it starts leaking, we'll address it at that time. Still need to get this stud, but I have to find it through all my parts. Before I forget, I'm gonna flip this on its back. I'm gonna get my aviation sealer back out. I've got my L-ring gasket. So we'll go ahead and put this on. All right. I'm gonna need to make sure that this is completely flat before I put it on. So I'll torque these down 5 foot-pounds, and the order, according to my book, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got my washer. Almost there. There we have it. So with both of these jugs on, my last step is to put the heads on. However, this is where I need your help. I currently have single port heads like these. Now, I have a set, and yes, this would have to be rebuilt, but I have everything to rebuild it. The reason why I wanted to do a dual port setup is because you get a little bit more power. They're more out there. That's what people are wanting, not so much a single port. What do you think I should do with this? Go dual port or keep it single port? I'm really open to whatever. I kind of like the challenge and the potential to rebuild these heads. So for the single port, I have a 28 pick carburetor, the manifold that needs to just be cleaned up, and I have the single port heads. For the dual port setup, I have a 34 pick carburetor. I have the intake. As you can see, it is rusted together. There's a possibility that I could take the intake from the single port and cut it and try to weld it on, or I could just go ahead and buy a whole complete unit. Let me know what you would do out of these two options, dual port or single port. Let me know in the comments below. I just want to show a quick close-up of these heads, and I'd love to hear your opinion on if you would keep these, rebuild these, or just trash them.